What's going on, guys? It's UrAvgConsumer, and today we're gonna be checking out the new Insta360 Go 3 camera, which is a completely different camera than I'm used to seeing, but I'm really excited for. Insta360 was cool enough to sponsor today's video and of course send these out for us to check out. And I'm excited because I've been really happy with the Insta360 Link as well as the Insta360 One RS, and they were amongst the best versions of the kind of cameras that they were. So I'm really pumped to see this one since it's completely different than what I'm used to. So we got some accessories over here. We're gonna put these off to the side. And let's jump into this thing. So pop open the box.
That's a small camera.
It's tiny. Now what's cool about it is that it has a magnetic body right here in the back. So it mounts magnetically, and even the box I think is magnetic. That's kind of cool. And there are like a ton of ways to mount this really tiny camera. Okay, so this is one of the mounts. Bam. So we've got this right here, which is like a pivot stand. You can pivot it in multiple directions. I like. This is the included action cam body. So let's throw this over here. Whoa. But what's cool about this is you get a screen that you can just flip over. Whew. And you also have another mounting option. And this is cool because you can actually mount this like on a shirt. Listen, Dom, I don't need you anymore, I'm done. I got it. And you can pull this out. Okay, and you can even adjust it. Okay, so that's what we get inside of the main box. So let's spend a little time talking about the camera. So what we're looking at right here, you guys, is what Insta360 is calling the world's smallest action camera. And I mean, you can see by the size of it, this thing is absolutely tiny and it gets the job done. And this tiny thing is capable of shooting 2.7K video or 1440p in their free frame video mode. I actually love that mode. So that's usually what this thing is on for me. And because this thing is an action camera, you know what that means. This thing is going to have stabilization built right into it. So if you're not the best at keeping your camera still, you're not gonna have to worry about that. Or depending on the kind of shoots you're doing, you know you're gonna get some really smooth footage. It's got like 3 levels of flow state stabilization built into it. It's been pretty impressive. I've taken this thing to the zoo with Austin, and if you try to run around anywhere with a toddler, you know it is absolutely hectic. They're all over the place always.
I feel you.
Jade, you know, man.
It's
wild. Now, when I took this thing around with my boy Austin, I actually used this guy right here. This is the magnetic pendant. So you can kind of slap this right onto it. This will go inside of like your shirt. Throw it in your shirt. And I had mine sitting right about here, dead center on the chest. And you can pretty much just go hands-free. Like I don't have to worry about holding a camera. I got most of my shots with him using this thing and a couple of other accessories. We'll talk about those in a second. But this was the main way I was going about getting some of my shots with him at the zoo. Now for me personally, a lot of the stuff I capture footage of these days are, you know, my kids. And usually when you have to bust out the phone, it breaks the moment, you know?
No, it takes too long. No.
It takes too long. Them toddlers are crazy, man. They're flying about. So sometimes you just can't pull out the phone and try and get them to stay still. You wanna be in the moment, and this does a really good job at allowing you to do that. So if I got this thing around my neck, all I gotta do is tap that little button in the center. It's gonna record, and then I get to do whatever I need to with the kids without worrying about like angles or anything. I know this is pretty much going to capture what I need it to. And what's nice is with this magnetic pendant, they give you this, I guess, wedge to kind of basically give you an angle when it's inside of your shirt. Now, a lot of times, like if you're dealing with, you know, someone younger, something smaller, maybe a dog or, you know, your kids, you're gonna want the camera kind of tilted downward, not facing all the way up. And this gives you a slight angle downward so you can see the little thing that you've got going on that you're trying to get your shot of.
That's really thoughtful.
Yeah, right? And not to mention, this thing actually has a pretty cool voice control feature. And all I'd have to do is say, start recording, and boom. And once I feel like you know, the moment's over, stop recording. Boom, we're all done. But what's awesome is that Insta360, you saw it, they gave you like a ton of accessories and options inside of the box, as well as additional options you can pick up. So let's kind of talk about those. Now, one of the biggest changes of Insta360's Go camera is this action pod. So with this action pod, you can just throw in your camera right here. This is like the typical design that people are used to, but what's nice, like I said before, you've got that pop out screen so you can see exactly what's going on. But what's cool about this thing is that you can actually take out the camera and still see everything going on. You can use this as your live feed. So if you're wearing it on your chest or you've got it propped up somewhere, you can still take a look at this thing to make sure you're getting the kind of shot that you want. Make sure you're not missing the mark completely. I actually reference the screen quite a bit when shooting with Austin, just to make sure things were the way I wanted and I wasn't missing the shot. And it's been extremely useful. Now, this guy's also gonna allow you to get all the controls that you need right on the camera. So you can actually just swipe on the screen, and there are a ton of different things you can do in the menus. And beyond that, you can also pick the shooting mode that you're in. And as you can see, there are quite a bit. You got your 1080p or 1440p options, even your frame rate. Listen, you know us, we're not gonna go crazy into the technical stuff, but there are a lot of options you can customize. The Action Pod gives you access to all of that. So not only are you gonna get like a live feed of what's going on the camera, but it gives it more battery life. If your camera died, you can throw it in here and it should charge it up. Not to mention, it's really secure inside of here. Not only does it use magnets, but it has a locking mechanism that you can actually just press this little button over here to release it and take this thing on the go and set it up with any of the other accessories that you want. Now we've got this thing over here which can clip onto like the strap of a backpack. You can even attach it to the brim of a hat. So this thing is pretty much gonna be at eye level and capturing whatever you're looking at. It's a really good way to get that real first person point of view. You also have the ability to attach it to this thing. So this mount, you can pretty much angle it however you want. And when you take off this plate, it has like this sticky side. So if you want to mount this thing to a car, you can get some nice car shots. Now you can take off that adhesive part and throw it onto this thing called a monkey grip. And then this is when it gets like next level. With this guy, you can attach it to like anything. Like if there's like this tree, right? Why not? We could throw it onto here and it's securely going to stay right there. So if you're out and about and you want to just quickly get a shot, maybe talk to the camera. All right, guys, I'm in New York City right now and I'm doing all this crazy day in the life stuff, like shopping. And you can get that shot super easy. We actually mounted it to like a park bench with Austin while we ate some ices, and it's dope. Definitely great if you're trying to do the whole Casey Neistat thing. Like this is made for that. And we can't forget the typical, selfie stick style. Not to mention with this, you can also just kind of use it as a tripod, sit it down, get whatever shots you need to. And while we know this thing is extremely versatile in terms of the way you get your shot, what's also versatile is the shot itself. So we can change the field of view either on the camera or with the studio software on your computer so that you can get the shot that you want. You can even change the stabilization after, and whew, some of the footage that I got before applying stabilization, my goodness, looked pretty crazy. So the Studio app is great because not only can you manage the clips that you have there, but you can make all of those adjustments to the footage that you shot and get it just the way you want it to look. I know there were some shots where I was like, oh man, I cut off Austin's head. This is horrible. And Jay's like, nah, dude, just drag it down. And his face is right there. And it kind of saved the day. So it was really nice to be able to go in and then, fix the angle of the shots in post. And it kind of just ties into that whole don't miss a moment theme where, even if you feel like you didn't get the shot, go into software and chances are you probably did.
I did it.
But if you're someone who just maybe doesn't want to touch editing at all, you can actually go into the app and let AI do the magic for you.
Really?
Yeah. Let me show you, Jay. So within the app, you can go into this setting called Auto Edit, and you can pick the different clips that you want to use to create or let AI create a new video for you. Whoa. And if you like what it did, you can just hit export so that you can get what you just watched right into your camera roll. So if you're not good at editing and you just want to put a few clips together to create something that you can share, the AI lets you do the trick. Not to mention within the app, you can see all of the things that you shot. You have access to your entire library. So you can go ahead and look at some of the stuff you did here, even export some stuff too. So a lot of those controls, if you don't want to attach this thing to a computer, you can do it from the app. So in terms of battery life, I know some of you might be curious. So you got about like 45 minutes of recording with just the camera itself. When you throw on this guy, I think it goes up to like 173 minutes. That's at 1080p. Not to mention, this is also water resistant. This guy goes up to 5 meters, so like 16 feet underwater. This guy though is just splash resistant. So if you want to have this sitting by the pool, if it gets a little water on it, it gets a little rain on it, should be okay, but you don't want to submerge this. But let me know what you guys think of the Insta360 Go. This tiny little camera definitely shakes up the game, and it's a really huge improvement compared to just the previous one, which was just like pretty different in its own right. And I'm happy with what they've changed, what they've added. This thing is really cool. So I know what I'm gonna be taking around with me for the summer when I'm going out with the boys, doing all kinds of family activities. This thing's gonna be a lifesaver. But that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll of course have everything linked down below in the description for you to check out. But if you enjoyed this, be the cool guy or girl that gives this video a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace.
You gonna go skydiving with this thing on?
I've done skydiving and never again. You know, you guys can actually just wear hats from now on and then just watch me talk and record our videos that way.
I'm down.
Yeah, just like, I don't gotta carry a heavy camera.